Guys, I'm back again, man. Thank you for having me. Obviously, Lucas Torreira of YouTube and them things there. But yeah, man, people, we know it's been a slow week. Well, it hasn't been a slow week for me because somehow I still find a way of thinking of videos to give you guys and them things there when I want to take a break. But it's been a slow week in regards. There's no Premier League and other leagues, international break. Obviously, there's been a couple headlines that have been thrown around and stuff. Obviously, you've seen my other videos as well. So, away from Arsenal, if you could say that, we might as well talk about some themes that I've seen today online, whether it's been on BBC, Sky Sports, etc., Tribal Football, Go.com, the usual lot that we all look at, people, for when we come and we love ball, innit? But yeah, obviously, what have I got first? Let's get a pen, man. Take this one off first. Obviously, UEFA's planning to. I don't know if you'll have seen it, but UEFA's planning to meet to get rid of away goals. Well, I say get rid. That's not exactly what they're doing. They're going to discuss away goals and if they can get rid of it and things like that. Apparently, a couple managers from UEFA clubs or whatever the forum that they've been at this week, they've all kind of more or less lobbied against it. Really, if it is what I want and getting rid of away goals, then I'm all for it, man. It's an old rule. It's an outdated rule. It doesn't really make any sense. I'm always going to say that I'm an Arsenal fan. I mean, we've seen the theme when we were in champs, such as our decline, when we would come back in the second leg of sorts, when it's already done and dusted, and moan about away goals. And on a more serious note, we've seen a couple teams kind of shagged from that and things like that. Like, it doesn't really make sense. Obviously, back in the days before my time, if it was deemed harder to score away from goals because of the defences and all of these things, fair enough. But time moves on, so I'm sure many OGs and people watching that are older than me and them things there will agree. Like, away goals, there's no need for it really. Like, it's nonsense when you deep it. Like, how can one goal really stand for two goals? It don't make sense, people. Like, one goal should be a goal, not two. And then like I don't even think people sit back on away goals nowadays. Well, obviously, being logical, if we're playing a two-legged tie and we've kind of got a reasonable lead, we're going to be a bit more reserved and a bit more, we're going to think about that and be a bit more tactical in that department. But nobody's really sitting back for 90 minutes and saying we're holding on. I don't believe anyone can really do that per se anymore, to be honest. Like, probably Atletico and them great defensive systems currently modern day right now could, but more often than not, if they were to get to 5 semi-finals and try and do that, I don't think it would be successful. Like, the game has changed. You have to. Defense is the best form of attack per se, to be honest. Obviously, I'm not saying it. Don't take that in a literal sense, people, but you get the point in it. Moving on from that, I think they also want to implement a European-wide transfer closure at the same date. So I'm assuming they're taking from us lot and our league and saying it will close before the league started, and that would be a good thing, to be honest with you, because I must admit it was a bit of overkill when our transfer window closed and the away, what am I talking about? And the European clubs were still able to buy players. It was a bit of an overkill. Like, we didn't really see nothing. We had a bit of Pogba, will he go, won't he go, and all of this, but Martial as well, probably a couple Arsenal players, but it weren't really a madness. But you can see why it should be kind of synchronized. And when you think about it, like, it's kind of crazy that you could still buy players as the window's going on. I still believe you should be able to do that, to be honest with you. I mean, why the season started, pardon me, people. But looking back and now that it's happened, it does actually make sense to just close it before the season starts. And if you haven't dealt with stuff, it's your business. Obviously, it's a bit harsher for you. City, for example, when Bravo's got that mad injury, if the window was still open when they could sign players, then they might have been able to sign a backup keeper of sorts. But I saw it got some time. Anyways, moving on. I think Genoa and Barcelona, they've agreed to play a league game in America next year. Now, I've stayed away from that. I have seen the reports, people. I have seen all the stuff they've been saying about they want to start playing La Liga games over there on a consistent basis. We don't need to get into it. We know it's for commercial reasons and stuff. On one hand, if there are Barcelona fans and if there are Genoa fans in America and they don't, whether they have money to go and make that flight to Spain or whatever, the chance to see their team live, similar to pre-season, I can't really tell you that's unfair. The problem is clubs are not doing this from fan sentimental point of view. They're doing this purely for profit, and it's sad. Obviously, clubs are gonna try and sweeten the thing and saying we'll give you free tickets or chartered flights, but it's nonsense. That is a league game in Spain. It should be played in Spain. Cup matches, cup finals, and stuff. I actually think you should go do your thing if you want to play in Australia. If you wanted to play I wouldn't agree with it. But if you wanted to play Champions League, for instance, in Australia, do your thing. But league game, in fact, no, forget that. It's European based competition. I'm gassing the thing. But obviously, if people wanted to do, you get the point, people. If people wanted to do their thing in finals, then I'm all for that. But not a common game like this. That will create a bag of problems, man. Imagine if straight after that you've got international stuff, and it'll be nonsense, man. That's like credit to the players. I believe the La Liga players at one point tried to lobby against this sort of stuff, but I don't know what's going to happen in that regard. But it is what it is. A bit rather concerning news. If you lot have been paying attention to Denmark, they've had to select players from the third and fourth tier of their league and players that play futsal, I believe, because they're going through an ongoing dispute with their players and in regards to commercial opportunities and them things there. I believe it's along the lines of players want to be able to negotiate their own individual commercial deals when playing for the national team. And I believe there was an agreement in place previously, but for those more clued up on the matter that know this stuff, and long story short, it's not really happening for them. So Wales, they're playing Wales, which that's a good game. Like, you could get smacked up, which they could hold a drum in. No disrespect to the quality of players they brought, but it's nothing to Ramsey and Bale and all of these sort of players. So like, it's crazy. I mean, they haven't even got a manager. They've got intern manager, interim gaffer at the moment, intern manager. So it's mad. Hopefully an agreement will be signed, but at least if you're Chelsea or if you're a Chelsea fan, if you're a Spurs fan, Eriksen and Christensen, if they get a game off and can return to their clubs early or just get a break, then good on you. But you don't want to see this sort of stuff happen, man. Just for Denmark fans that want to watch their national team in general, like, it's national pride. No, again, no disrespect to these players, but the drumming could take place if the game goes ahead. Or maybe Wales have some compassion and allow their squad players or players that don't necessarily call up to try and prove their worth if you can against that caliber of player. Again, no disrespect. Hopefully an agreement comes in place, man. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens in that regard, man. But that's all I've been seeing, really and truly, people. There's nothing really more to talk about, if I'm honest with you. All the other headlines look a bit forced. But yeah, man, people, deluded, man. Stay safe and all of them sort of things. Get in the comments, subscribe and do the rest. I'm out.